In today's video, I'm going to take you through some mobility exercises for your shoulder arthritis. And do make sure you stay tuned until the very end, as I will be giving you some useful tips and advice along the way. And we're going to start right now. Just before we jump into the exercises, it is a good idea to point out the fact that when it comes to shoulder arthritis, there is quite a significant spectrum of severity. At one end of the spectrum, you may have fairly minimal pain and maybe just some stiffness first thing in the morning that eases quite quickly with full range of movement in all directions. At the other end of the spectrum, you may have significantly reduced range of movement in all directions with quite high levels of pain. In today's video, I'm going to show you the exercises through the full range of movement, but it's important that you just do whatever feels comfortable for you. The first few exercises that we're going to do are active assisted exercises. That basically means that you're going to use the good arm to get the not so good arm moving. So we're going to work on the premise that the left side is the good side, right side is the not so good side. You're going to need something long at home to help with this exercise. I'm going to use a brolly. You could use a golf club, walking stick, or a broomstick at home. Now, you're going to start off with the good arm at the bottom and the sore arm towards the top. Depending on how much movement you've got, you can hold it anywhere along the length of what you're using. And then the idea is that the sore arm is not really doing much at all. It's the good arm that's doing all of the work, and the good arm is gently going to raise the right arm up into whatever range of movement that you have available, and then slowly down. Slowly up, out in front of you. So this is called shoulder flexion or elevation. And then slowly up to the top. The next exercise we're going to do is shoulder abduction. That's this movement out to the side. So good arm at the bottom, sore arm higher up your stick, and you're going to use the good arm to gently move your right arm out to the side and then slowly back down. Let the good arm take all of the weight if it is a little bit uncomfortable, and then gently move through whatever range you have available. Now, typically things that people do wrong with these exercises, and the last one that we just did, is if you do get to a point of stiffness, it's very easy to then compensate through your trunk and tilt. And with the elevation one, you tend to tilt backwards. So you want to keep your trunk nice and straight, nice and still. Don't move your top half. It's the shoulder that needs to be doing all of the movement, and you want all of the movement to come from the shoulder joint itself. I'm going to interrupt just for a second to say if you would like to know any more about osteoarthritis or any other pain and rehabilitation related issues, then hit that subscribe button so you get notified every time I release a new video, which I do every single week. Thank you very much for watching and enjoy the rest of this one. We're now going to complete a movement called external rotation, and that is this movement here. Now, you're aiming to try and keep your elbow in a 90-degree position, and it needs to be tucked into your side. If you do feel like you do the movement and your elbow starts coming away from your body, you can always grab a towel or a pillow to pop next to your side, and the aim then is to squeeze that towel between your trunk and your elbow, and that will ensure that your elbow stays nice and close to your body. You're grabbing your stick again, good arm at the end, good arm's doing the work, sore arm is not doing much at all. Just try and relax as much as you can. And then from this central neutral position, you're going to take the arm out to the side and then slowly back to the middle. Out to the side and then slowly back to the middle. If you do have arthritis in your shoulder, this movement in itself can be a nice little test just to compare left and right. If you do have a marked difference one side compared to the other with regards to your movement, then you know the joint might be suffering from a little bit of arthritis. This hand behind the back movement can also be quite problematic if you have arthritis in your shoulder. Again, it's still a good idea to practice if your pain allows. So if you can get your hand up your back far enough that you can use the good one to provide a little bit of assistance. You can try like that. The other way you could do it is also grab your stick back again, and you would pop your good arm over the top of your head and then hold on to the bottom of your stick with your sore arm. And then once again, we're using the good arm to do all of the work, and we're gonna pull the stick up above our head. And as we do that, that should bring our stiff sore arm higher up the back. So all the way down, then all the way up, and all the way back down again. The next exercise is called a pendular exercise, and it is one of the easiest exercises that you can try for your shoulder mobility. You're basically going to lean forwards, either in a lunge position, or you could just bend over, and you're gently going to let the arm hang and then swing around in different movements. So we can go clockwise, anti-clockwise, and you can go forwards and backwards, and also left and right. Now, it's often given to people after they've had a shoulder surgery because it is quite easy and you're not having to work against gravity. Really, with all of the movement exercises, you should feel like they are doing something. So if this one is not challenging enough for you, then I would just probably leave it out of your exercise program. If you did find with the active assisted exercises, you can't help but compensate slightly with your trunk by leaning to the side, leaning back, or turning, then you can always use your body weight to push against a solid or stable surface. So with the external rotation one, you can set yourself up against the corner of a wall or a door frame. I'm going to use the plinth, and the left arm for this exercise is the sore one. You're going to get your arm in that 90-degree position, rest your hand against that solid surface, and then you're just going to turn your body away from that shoulder, and that will produce the stretch or the increased movement that you're looking for with your external rotation. Now, if you did want to do a similar thing with your flexion and abduction with regards to using your body weight to get a bit more range when you get to the end of the range, then you can do them against a wall or again against a door frame. So you want to get yourself into sort of a mini lunge type position. Get your hand as far up the wall as you can with the movement that you have available, and then you're just basically going to lunge forwards, need a bit more, lunge forwards, feel that stretch through here, and then come off. Lunge forwards, and then come off. And you have the option of keeping moving, or when you get to the end of range or that stiff point, you can just hold that stretch for a few seconds. A further way you can try and increase your flexion or elevation is by doing a wall walk. Now that kind of is what it says on the tin, but you're basically going to walk your fingers up the wall and then back down again. And that little bit of support from the wall just provides you with that stability that you need. Now, this is a great exercise in terms of monitoring your improvement, because if things are quite stiff and sore initially and you're struggling and you can only get to here, but in a few weeks' time you've practiced and you can get to here, you know that things are improving and that you're heading in the right direction. Now, people tend to really like this exercise to try and increase the amount of elevation they have, just because if you are in quite a bit of discomfort, your arms feel nice and stable and nice and safe. So you're going to rest your forearms on a flat surface at home, and this exercise works really well if you have an office chair with wheels on, because you're going to wheel yourself forwards and backwards. So rest your arms, and then as you go backwards, the amount of flexion that you have in the shoulder increases. But as you can see, my arms are nice and safe, they're nice and stable, and I've got full control over the movement. Thank you for watching. There are some useful links in the description below the video to help you with your arthritis, and I'd love to hear from you. So do drop me a comment below the video and let me know which exercise from today's video you found most helpful. If you are new to the channel, then do please hit that subscribe button so you get notified every time I release a new video, which I do every single week. And if you're feeling really generous, then you can tap that like button whilst you're there. If you have enjoyed today's video, you may also like the video that I have put together on mobility exercises for your neck arthritis. And there is a whole playlist on the channel about how to manage your arthritis better at home. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, I will see you again very soon.